Hello. I'm so happy to be here this morning talking about letting go. Happy, I guess, is not the right word. Letting go is not a happy thing to do. It's not a fun thing to do usually. Sometimes it's necessary though. So I'm Sandra Griff. I am with Ever Changing Life, and I am an energy movement facilitator. So I help you move your energy, your body's energy. So when that energy gets stuck, it sits in our body and it does weird things to our body. It stops the blood from flowing properly. It stops the oxygen from moving around. It sits in our organs and creates things like cancer, disease, arthritis. It'll sit in our joints and create difficulties for us there. It can not be quite as destructive in other ways, where it just slows us down, causes a little bit of pain so that we don't move quite as fast or want to. So letting go of anything is hard. It's just hard. Letting go means we have to leave something behind, and that creates a psychological barrier for us. And that psychological barrier is what stops us from moving ahead, from letting those things go. So if we talk about letting go of things, stuff, our possessions, that's quite an easy one, you would think, but really it can be quite difficult, because there's emotional attachment to some of our stuff. If we grew up without a lot of money and now we have money to spend, we buy things, and that represents our wealth. Those things now represent something to us. So when asked to give them up, if we have to downsize for some reason, I can see how that would be difficult. And two, if we have an heirloom, if we have something that belongs to a family member, or maybe a family member that's deceased, and it means something to us, it says, oh, that was my grandma's, that was my aunt's, and there's this emotional attachment to this. So it creates this difficulty for letting go. And sometimes we don't even recognize what that difficulty is. My daughter has really conquered this. She is the master of letting things go. Now, don't get me wrong. There are things that she just loves and will not live without. One is a dishwasher. She hates washing dishes. She will not live without her dishwasher. But everything else for her is expendable. It is a tool to get her where she needs to go, and if she has to get rid of it, out the door it goes. Doesn't mean she doesn't feel something about it, just means that she has conquered this. I, however, have more difficulty in letting some things go. I have let a lot go. I remember about 5-6 years back, my daughter was cleaning out her storage room. And she had posted on Facebook that it really felt like home when she walked into this storage room that was so full of stuff. And I replied on Facebook and said, oh, honey, that's so sweet. And she said, Mom, did you understand that I meant that it was full of stuff and didn't need to be, which is why I was cleaning it out? Oh, okay. So it wasn't actually a compliment. It was a, yeah, no, this is how I grew up and I don't want to stay this way. And it's not that we had a house full, but I'm an organizer. I know how to tuck away a lot of stuff. And I did. I tucked away a lot. And I was saving it for a rainy day. I was saving old material because someday we may want to do a craft project. Or maybe it was because, oh, I loved that material and I was eventually going to make a dress out of it. You know, if you've hung on to something for 10 years and you haven't used it, might be time to let it go. And if you can't let it go, then you need to start looking at why you can't let it go. So that's stuff. People are a little harder to let go. I've had several losses in the last few months. One of them was a wonderful woman who was 99 years old. As much as I miss her, that loss was not quite as hard to let go. She was 99. She was not in good health. She was not happy. And she was old. She lived a wonderful life. So it wasn't as hard to let go. I miss her. I miss spending time with her. I miss the weekly ritual of going to see her. So even after just about 4 months now, I still haven't quite let go, because I will still think at the beginning of my week, oh, yeah, I need to schedule in when I'm going to go see Mom. Yeah, no, I don't need to. She's gone. So it takes time to let go of people. And I wish I could say there was a set amount of time. There is not. It really depends on how easy and how connected and how willing you are to let it go. I've also lost her daughter. Her daughter just passed away last week. So it has been compounded now, because she was also my connection to this lady who passed away 3 months ago. So now that's brought up all of my feelings for the mom as well. And this one's going to be a little bit harder to let go because we weren't expecting it. She was only 74 and it wasn't her time yet. It was a weird thing that happened, but she's gone nonetheless. And we need to find our new normal. I need to find my new way of moving on without her. And that's not always easy. So that's things and people, the two hardest things to let go. What about arguments? What about how we feel about someone? That's a pretty tough thing to sometimes let go too. It can be very difficult to sometimes even recognize that we haven't let it go. So I was talking with a lady the other day and she said, I have no problem with my ex-husband. And she said it just like that. So there was animosity in her voice. There was anger there. If you're carrying emotion for the thing that you say you've let go, you've not actually let it go. Letting it go means releasing that emotion that's attached to it. And sometimes we think we've let it go, but we really haven't. Another trigger will pop up. We may have more than one trigger for each event. So it could be you've let go of the way you were spoken to. You've let go of that. So that's no longer a trigger for you. But have you let go of the words that were spoken to you? Have you let go of the feeling that those words evoked in you? You will always remember how someone made you feel. And that's a tough thing to let go, especially if you don't recognize that you're hanging on to it. And that emotion that you're hanging on to in relation to that event, that argument, that fight, that disagreement, and maybe it wasn't even that. Maybe it was just something that happened that stuck with you. They gave you a look and you just can't shake it. Those are harder to let go because the emotion that's attached to them floods our body with a release of chemicals, from our brain. They are harder to let go, but you can still let them go. So over this next month, I'm going to be talking more about letting go of specific things and how we can do that. But right now, I'd like to get into a little bit of tapping to help release some emotions that you may be holding right now, something that you need to let go right now to get you started. So we're going to start with the eyebrow point. So right at the edge of your eyebrow, where your eyebrow starts, that's where we're going to tap. And I want you to repeat after me. I need to let this go. Now it's side of the eye, the bone on the side of the eye, and repeat after me. Tap and repeat. I need to let this feeling go. Under the eye. The bone right under your eye. I need to let this feeling go. I want you to take a second. Take a nice deep breath. Recognize where that feeling is in your body. Recognize what you need to let go. You can even rate it from 1 to 10. 1 being, it's not so bad. 10 being, oh, I really need to let this go. Just keep in mind your number. Feel where it is in your body. And that's what you're going to concentrate on. You're going to concentrate on that feeling in your body. Under your nose. Tap under your nose. Maybe it's the feeling in your body that's in your stomach. Tap on the chin. Maybe that feeling is sitting in your head. It's causing you a headache. Tap on your collarbone. Maybe that feeling is sitting in your throat. Maybe it's stopping you from speaking. Tap on your wrist. Is that feeling in your joints? Can you feel your joints tighten when you are thinking about that? Top of the head. Maybe it's in your muscles. Are your muscles tightening up? Eyebrow. Do you feel a little bit lightheaded when you think about that? Side of the eye. Does your breathing quicken when you're thinking about that event that you need to let go? Under the eye. Let's just let it go. Nice deep breath. Under the nose. Now keep repeating after me. This feeling I'm hanging on to. Chin. This feeling that's in my body. Collarbone. This feeling I need to let go. Wrist. I don't want to hang on to it anymore. Top of the head. It's causing me so much grief. Eyebrow. I'm losing sleep over it. Side of the eye. I just can't shake this feeling. Under the eye. And I'm hanging on to it. Under the nose. I'm hanging on for dear life. Chin. I don't want to let this feeling go. Collarbone. I know I need to let this feeling go. wrist. But if I let this go, are things going to change? Top of the head. I'm really afraid things are going to change. Eyebrow. If I let this go, I know things are going to change. Side of the eye. And I'm not ready for them to change. Under the eye. But what if they change for the good? Under the nose. I guess that's a possibility. Chin. But what if they don't? Collarbone. What if things don't change for the better? Wrist. I am sure I can move past this. Top of the head. I'm sure I can let this go. Now I want you to take a nice deep breath. So just a quick recap. Letting go is one of the hardest things you will ever do. Letting go of stuff, letting go of people, and letting go of emotions. It's not an easy thing to do, to let go. We actually started out as human beings with nothing. We had nothing. And we have grown to have everything. And it's very difficult to think about letting stuff go when we have been trained to let it, like to keep it, to hang on to it. You need to keep what you have and get more. And that's not always healthy for us. It's not always in our best interest to hang on to everything. So as I said a little bit earlier, if you've just popped in on the call, it is a process. And over the next few weeks, for sure, I will be talking more in depth about letting go of specific things. And each time I will be tapping on those specific things so I can give you a sense of how you can start releasing the emotion that is buried deep in your body. And tapping can help you let it go. So I hope you enjoyed this particular event. And before we go, I just want you to check on your emotion. Now, we didn't tap for very long, but we did tap enough that you may have dropped 1 or 2 points. So just check in, give a little check in with your emotions and see if the tapping helped you drop down. You may need to tap a little more to actually release the emotion you were thinking of, especially if it was a higher number. So I'm really glad you joined me this week. And every week is a new topic. Every week is a new adventure. And I hope to see you again. I'm Sandra with Ever Changing Life. My website, www.everchanginglife.ca. Have a great day.